So here we go. How are you, Jill?
Hi, Michael. I'm good. How are you?
I am. It's been a very long 2.5 days. I'll just say that. It's been a very long 2.5 days.
Yes.
So, but we're
Long
excited.
but fun and rewarding. It's all
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
Exactly. So today Spectrum Reach. For those who don't know what Spectrum Reach is all about, we're the ad sales portal to Charter Corporation, and so that's a Fortune 100 company that's built on communities. You know, our business is one neighborhood at a time. And so as we talk about things today, it's really what do we do to drive our business by investing in communities. Similar, I think, for H&R Block.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone knows H&R Block. While we do taxes, we do other things as well, but we do taxes to provide help and inspire confidence in what is one of the most complicated and important financial moments of the year. And we are a founder community-led company. 70 years ago, two brothers, Henry and Richard, hence H&R, founded H&R Block in Kansas City, and really from that point have been very focused on the role that our experts play in making the communities and the clients that we serve a better place, and a place where neighbors can convene. So that purpose is part of what we cherish from our origin story and take forward.
So one of the things that we were going to talk about today was investing in communities as a business imperative. You know, a lot of businesses invest in communities and corporate social responsibility, and it's sort of a separate function. But I think in the case of H&R Block and also in Spectrum Reach, it's core to what we do. So I thought maybe we'd start with an explanation a little bit, some of the programs, you know, between whether it's a fair shot or whether Make Every Block Better, so how you've sort of thought through those programs.
Yeah, I'll start with one which really leads with community, which is a platform that we created in 2019 called Make Every Block Better. So in tax season, H&R Block has 10,000 retail locations around the world. Just for perspective, Walmart has about 4,500. There was a stat at one point, we were within 5 miles of every American. And so with that network, which was established to, again, provide help and inspire confidence around the tax experience, we very much were involved in the building the communities, investing in the communities, creating places where neighbors could convene in the places that we served. And so we had a lot of autonomy at the local level on what did that mean. In 2019, we leveled it up and said we're going to do a couple of things and we're going to do them really well. And so we have a platform called Make Every Block Better. We have made a commitment to achieve 1 million volunteer hours for our associates by 2025. So it's also core to our employer brand and our associate experience. We're about proudly a third of the way there. And so, you know, we invest in partnerships like Habitat for Humanity. Our associates are out often making neighborhoods better because that helps the economies to, you know, improve and create a better place for neighbors to come together. So Make Every Block Better is something that we're deeply proud of, and it's just a part of how we show up every day, is like, what are we doing for the communities that we serve? So I'll take a breath and then I can talk about another program.
No, I'm smiling because, you know, for us, it's very similar. We pride ourselves in being local market experts. So if we're going to help a small business, we need to understand what those businesses care about and what they care about within the community. And so in 2021, we launched a program called Pay It Forward. And essentially what we do is we offer free, up to $15,000 in free media. We create advertising campaign, and we have an AE help underrepresented businesses, BIPOC entrepreneurs, to really get into the television game. And in the last 2 years, we've invested about $45 million to help businesses learn about the power of television. And it's been incredibly accessible for us and become core to what we do from a community standpoint. So part of it was providing access to resources, but what we found is that community connection, the ability of one of our AEs or marketing people to give a check to say, congratulations, you have $15,000 in free media. Our AEs are crying. You know, there are tears, and there's a connection, and a real visceral connection that we found not only helps grow our business, these customers become loyal customers, but it's helping us with employee retention. And so I'm curious, within Make Every Block Better, the impact it's had on the business on a local basis, but also within your employee set.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so much of the experience of H&R Block is the personal relationship between a client and their tax pro who works to give them that maximum refund guaranteed. But, by using the power of our knowledge and expertise to ensure they have every credit and every deduction to achieve that. Make Every Block Better is really about those connections. Every tax year, our experts have 12 million hours of conversations with our clients. And so with that, they really get a sense of what's on their hearts, what's on their minds. We often say that our associates have really, as H&R Block, we have like a front row seat into the reality of what it's like to be an American today. And so the ability that we all have as associates to be a part of making our communities better because of that relationship that we have with the people who are a part of those communities is really, really rewarding, and I think a big driver of what we refer to as our connected culture and really, really high associate engagement.
Yeah. So one of the things that and I don't know if it was the same for A Fair Shot or for Make Every Block Better, when we started Pay It Forward, it was really a marketing program. It was post George Floyd. It was an opportunity to really invest back in the community in a meaningful way, providing actual dollars, actual access to resources, actual connection to community. But it was a marketing program. And from our sales organization, it was amazing, but it had made that transition to a business initiative. And so what we really had to show is, by starting with free inventory, by then creating a 50% and transitioning, we showed that by investing in the community, these businesses converted to full-time customers faster, at a higher percentage, and at a greater loyalty. And from a social expression and endorsement of what value we provide is exponentially bigger than we could ever do. And now our sales organization sees it. And now they understand it's a business imperative. And now they understand that not only should we do this, but every second quarter when we focus on new business, we have to do it, because it's literally doing well by doing good, because you're seeing that positive return, and we're starting to grow on, and we're starting to see it, but based on resources that we already had in place. So it was easy for them to understand. But we've had ups and downs. I know both here in my prior roles, and you as well. Lessons learned in terms of trying to get that transition from that's a great program to it's a critical business effort.
Well, first I'd say I love that you have this program, and I think what you're getting, I applaud it. It's awesome for those businesses that you invest in to see and experience what's possible when they can find their audience. And I think it's got to be, as you said, really rewarding for your AEs and employees broadly. I think that transitioning to the question, it's getting it right, I think, is the important part of this. And we stumbled into a new effort last year when the NCAA changed their rules, allowing athletes to realize sponsorship dollars for their name, image, and likeness. We saw that as a moment to provide what we expected would be much needed help around a lot of income for young people who had no idea what that would mean, like maybe not even having any of that income left when they had to pay taxes. And so we wanted to provide tax support to student athletes. This isn't really like what went wrong, but what went right with that was we were wanting to just provide that service to athletes broadly, and we realized in doing that work that only 23% of the available sponsorship dollars were going to female athletes.
Yep.
And so we decided to use what we were doing to provide that help and give them confidence in that tax experience, and do that for female athletes and create this conversation around giving them a fair shot. So we've got a fair shot program. We invest in student athletes, and we create a platform to tell their story. And we didn't really know where it would take us, because it was really designed to just provide help for them. What was really fortuitous was, well, we had great results with Gen Z. huge increases in brand favorability and trust. And so I think when you do things because it's really core to your brand and what matters to you, you'll see how it resonates. And this year we're back with a second year and we're sponsoring 50 athletes, and we've invited other brands who want to foster this conversation to be a part of it with us. So Fabletics and Jambies. So it's been really fun to just let something that we care about play out in a really organic way to see where it takes us as opposed to forcing it.
Yep. I think that is, if anyone learns anything from today, it is starting with a core truth of your business. Something that's organic.
Why it matters to you.
And then why it matters, and then build from that. And so in your case, obvious solution that you're uniquely qualified to do that can sort of grow and expand. I'm smiling because one of the interesting things that we discovered within Pay It Forward is not only did we reach an incredible cross-section of entrepreneurs from underrepresented communities, but over 60% are female entrepreneurs who are passionate, who are driving, who are really eager for resources and tools and understanding. And so now we have this community this year of 350 female entrepreneurs who want to talk to one another, who want to sort of learn from each other. And so an unintended consequence is we've created a whole substructure of support for these female entrepreneurs to learn from each other and to know the efforts and the challenges and the issues and the opportunities are not unique. Yeah. And so it's been interesting. I'm wondering, have the athletes compared notes as well? Have you seen some of those pieces?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to foster a community of female athletes who are giving it their all across so many different fields of athleticism and athletics. And so, yeah, we've brought them together. We've actually created content that they all participate in through a hashtag challenge that we did on TikTok, where they talk about female role models in their life and how they've inspired them, the challenges that they're facing. And so it's great to see that community connect and learn from each other as well.
So I've just an idea. So we have these female entrepreneurs who are looking for different types of things. We should figure out a way to pair with some of the athletes there and find a way to bring these businesses together. It'd be amazing.
I love that.
So you were mentioning, we were talking about a fair shot that for this coming year that you're having additional partners come on board to help grow. So how did that work? What are the lessons there in terms of what did they see relative to what you were doing?
Yeah, well, we were looking for other brands who were wanting to participate in this conversation around diversity, equity, and inclusion across the world of athletics. And there are quite a few out there. And so we wanted to also be inclusive of the platform. And so we had some really meaningful conversations. Our partners at Ogilvy helped us network with some of the brands in their portfolio. And we had some really rewarding discussions and hope to continue to add additional brand partners as we go into wherever this takes us next, because I think the power of the collective and the more people who are fostering this conversation will help us to be more effective at really getting at the work that we're doing to bring a more inclusive and equitable approach. The other thing that we did core to the platform this year was we were really mindful about going beyond Big Ten schools and going beyond just the big sports. So we sponsored 50 female athletes across D1, D2, D3, historically black college and universities this year, and then sponsored women from lesser known sports because they're also giving it their all. So, we started with the big ones, softball, basketball, soccer, of course, and we've got field hockey, tennis, lacrosse this year. And so again, just making sure that we're taking a similarly inclusive approach to the platform.
Well, and those athletes in those markets are equally as relevant
and working just as hard in their respective sport. Yeah.
I love that. For the first 2 years, we were very, I don't know if precious is the right word, but we were very cautious about bringing in partners. Because we didn't need, like H&R Block, we don't need partners. Yeah. We're doing this because it's organic, it's foundational, it's core to what we do, it's what we want to do. And so for the first 2 years, when people asked to be part of it, we said, let us figure it out. And it wasn't about sponsoring, as you had to create core value. I think as we look forward, sort of seeing your model, we have customers who are eager for more. So we're providing tools for media and the power of television, the power of advertising. We did a boot camp with an agency this year to talk about brand strategy, but they want financial tools. They want to learn about HR. They want to learn about hiring practices. They want to learn about just managing and controlling costs, tax preparation. And so there are these opportunities. You have this community. It's almost unfair that we're not sharing. And so part of what we've been doing in Cannes and part of what we're doing moving forward is really inviting others to sort of join. We have this space. If you had 350 female entrepreneurs, if you had 50, female athletes, what might you do? What stories might you tell to actually enhance that experience?
And do it through content and storytelling, which is always the most effective way to get people to care and pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, we've been flying through it. I don't know how we're doing on time. We're having fun. We good? Any questions? I know everybody sort of sits back, relax, but we'd be curious. We can keep going for 10. Yeah. The name, the initials. She already did the initials to begin with.
Yeah, fun fact. Any H&R Block fun facts. I've learned a lot more about taxes in the last year than I ever expected to. And we have a saying at H&R Block, because we're really into taxes, and our CEO will often say, guys, like, our taxes are showing, because we get a little nerdy on it. But yeah, I learned recently, if you have a refund due, you don't have, refund from the government, you don't have to file your taxes for 3 years. So, they're happy to keep your money. So that's interesting. And then there's some really interesting behavioral psychology into how people delay. 20% of Americans wait until the last 2 weeks to pay their taxes. And it's not what you're thinking. It's not because they owe. Like 70% of those people actually have a refund due, and they're just not doing their taxes. So we've tried everything, incentives, trying to bring the demand curve up to help with the capacity constraints we have in those last 2 weeks, and we haven't been able to crack the code. I'll share one more interesting fact. I shared earlier that for most Americans, it's their most significant financial experience of the year. For 75% of Americans who get a refund, it's their biggest influx of cash. And so, helping to maximize that, to make sure they get every dollar that's due to them, is a really important part of what we're doing. And I could go on and bore people for longer than that, but those are some of the top takeaways.
I've got a question for you. So one of the things you talked about at the very beginning, all right, tax season. But what I think people don't realize is the other 10 or 11 months and the ongoing relationships and the relationships that those folks within 5 miles of every business have on an ongoing basis and sort of providing. And so I think it'd be interesting for others to sort of understand that.
Yeah. So taxes are a year-round business for some people. Certainly, perhaps some of you, I saw someone the other night and she said, oh my gosh, looking at you, it reminds me I have to get at my extension. So maybe you filed an extension and you're navigating that. Small businesses have quarterly tax payments, and so there's that. But we're also expanding to do more jobs for more customers. And so we work with small businesses on their payroll and bookkeeping needs, and we're providing financial services to consumers through a mobile banking app. And so it is less and less of a seasonal company. We're continuing to build that muscle, but we're always on. And certainly when our offices are not as active, that allows us to be more active in the community. I'm happy to say that my team survived doing work for Habitat in Kansas City last year in a 100-degree day. So doing things in the off-season is not always safe for our associates, but it allows us to have a little bit more time to do the things that are important to us.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the things that we're doing from a services standpoint as part of this Pay It Forward program, but also for small businesses, is really jumping in with both feet with AI. And one of the things that we do is we partner with a company called Waymark, who can essentially, if a business types in their name and the city, it will search for the address. It'll query, do you want a professional sounding or a fun? And within 3 minutes, we'll create a commercial with a voiceover. And so for businesses who are afraid of television, it's complicated, it's messy, I don't really understand. If I'm on TV, I've got to have a commercial. It's got to be legitimate. We're sort of demystifying that and democratizing it, and particularly for Pay It Forward, it's been amazing, but it's an incredible tool for us, for our sales organization. So if you can think it, you're trying to send a lead generation email with a commercial already done. So the smart AEs are in 1 hour creating 20 commercials for 20 candidates saying, this is what you could look like on TV, let me go tell you how to do it. And so it's democratized the creative process, it's become an incredible sales generation thing, and it's expanded our creative capabilities by about 15 to 20% because our in-house team does not have to work on some of the lower level content. It's idea generating for them for the higher level content, and so we're very bullish about it as well.
We just did it. We went there. I have not been to one conversation or been
I
in
had
one
to do it. We're out of
AI
time.
has not snuck into the
Nailed it.
conversation, even if it's not on the agenda.
I had to do it.
It's like, it's so core. I get it. Yeah. Well, gosh, I mean, AI is core to how we deliver our tax expertise. We've been able to leverage, from a big data standpoint, the hundreds of millions of returns that we've done through the years to power the expertise and care that we bring to people in real life to the tax experience that we provide in the digital world. But it's a whole different game with lots of, energy and enthusiasm around what we can do with large language AI. And so, we've just announced an exciting partnership along those lines, and we're excited to continue to build on AI in new ways. And yeah, we've done similar things on the creative side, but not as much at scale. And I think, figuring out where it plays so that we can leverage the great partnership and capacity that we have from our agencies internally to do the heavier lifting is certainly exciting, and test our way into getting, more targeted.
Amazing. Well, look, I want to thank everybody. Thank you. This was amazing.
This was fun. Thank you, guys.
Invite anyone to participate because it's meaningful, it's valuable, and it drives business. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.